Hello everybody. I'm going to go ahead and tie up a pink marabou jig. This is what we fish for steelhead and Ohio rivers. Up in any one of them that runs across the lakefront, it doesn't matter. It works in all of them. This year and last year, it seems like the best color has been this hot pink head with the white pearl body and the hot pink feathers. So we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and tie that one up for you now. To get started, we got a white 6/0 thread that I'll be using. And the hot pink marabou feathers, which you can probably see on the table. Hot pink head, that's a 1/32 ounce head. And we got the pearl crystal flash. And then the white pearl body, like I was talking about, the Chanel. I'll go ahead and get started. Take it, just start wrapping a little base down on the shank of the hook. Go ahead and trim off that extra, you don't need it. What I do is I'll take and wrap a little base on the hook like that, down a little ways, and then take and get my glue and put a little glue on the shank of the hook. That helps the material from spinning around the hook. That's a real common problem with a lot of the jigs we get up here in Ohio. And that'll stop that and prevent that from happening. That's how you usually tell the difference from a hand-tied to ones that are mass-produced, is in the quality of the jig like that. All right, now that you got the glue down, wrap forward back over the glue again, bring it right back up to the back of the head. Glue's already dry, and it'll soak into that thread a little bit that's still there. It's a little tacky. So now you can take one of your feathers. Now to measure your feather, you should want one hook shank length behind the jig. So, I mean, you could do it this way, measure it like that, bring it back to the back of the hook shank, and then you can grab it right there, and that's where you'd want to cut it, is the length right there. Now normally what I'll do is put it on the hook like that, and I'll see it's touching my vise right here against this flat. So I just mark that, so all my feathers I just put up right there, because the more uniform you make it, the better it's going to look. So that way I don't have to measure every single feather I put up there. It's just any kind of vise you could do that. You could put a piece of masking tape, you know, magic marker, anything you want to do. Get started, you just put a couple wraps around the material like that. Don't need a lot, you just need enough to hold the material on there as of right now at this point. And I look and I see that's not enough. So I'll get out another feather and measure it the same way, back to the back of the vise here. Go ahead and cut that off. And attach that in right in the same spot. Just put, you know, 2, 3, 4 wraps around, whatever. It doesn't matter, it's not real important. Now, see, that'd be plenty of feather on there now. So now what we want to do is get the crystal flash out. Now, there's several ways. There's no wrong way of doing it. Everybody has their own way. There's ways where you can fold it and you can put it all in there in one shot. It don't matter if the flash is on the top, the sides. It all works the same. I've tried it and it all caught fish no matter what. So what I usually do is I'll take the crystal flash and divide it in half. And come down here and cut it in half. And take that half that you got and divide it in half again. Don't cut it, just bend it over. That's if you don't drop it like I just did. Oh, there it is. This stuff is so easy to get away from you. And go ahead and cut that one in half one more time. So you got 2 separate pieces there. They're the same length. Then you bend both those in half. And just put it around your thread. Make sure you got 2 pieces on each side. And the nice thing about doing it this way is you can pinpoint where you want the crystal flash to go, just by sliding it right up the thread. And I got one strand being stubborn. Always happens, especially when you're on a camera. Take it, slide that forward like that, and see, I can slide it up and down the thread, put it exactly where I want it on the side, and just make a couple wraps again, just to hold it in place. Make sure you pull all your materials back so everything's sitting there nice. This is the advantage of having a rotary vise. You just rotate it around. Now I can see exactly where to put it on this side of the fish, or the jig. And like I said, it does everything. None of this has to be perfect. Fish don't care if something's out of place. that comes down to the fishermen. You know, they care about all that. So most of the stuff you're doing is catch the fishermen, not the fish. And I'll still always say that. Take that second half, divide it in half again and cut it. And same thing as you did on the other side. Grab it in the middle and bend it in half again. Go back around the thread, 2 pieces on each side again. And then slide it right into the area you want and put a couple wraps again. Now here what you want to do is you can stand it back up. Wrap it back down to right where you want your body wrap material to start. And I usually, on this type of jig, I only put a couple wraps on. And then bring it back to the head of your jig again. Make sure all your material's in the back. This is where you want to tie in your body wrap now. The Chanel. Just tie that in right behind the head. Now the reason why I tie it in by the head and not the back of the hook is I tie in, I wrap over the body material like this to the back and then wrap to the forward again. Now when you wrap this body material around the jig, you're wrapping over what you already put on the shank, which will just create a little bit more bulk. Here I just pull my thread down a little bit. I do have a cradle, that's what this is for. That would hold the bobbin out here in the cradle. It's not necessary. As you can see, I'll just put a few wraps on this. Wrap the body around right up to the back of the head. Rotate your thread around it. Go right and wrap around the head a couple wraps like that. Then pull your body material back and give a couple more wraps again. Now you can trim off your tag end of the material. Now here, you have to watch to be really careful because your thread, it's really easy to cut your thread right here. So I take my finger and I'll push my thread out of the way like that. As I come in forward, move up and clip the material off. And this way you don't cut your thread. Now you can try to pull all your little fibers back. Make a couple more wraps around the head again. And that's it. It's all set there. Now you can go ahead and finish off what you're not. You can use a whip finish tool or anything. I just do it manually. Come in, do 2 or 3 loops like that. Use your scissors. Pull it up and just give it a little cinch to cinch the knot in. Now you can do this again if you want to set the knot. You don't have to because we're going to put glue on there, so the glue is going to hold it anyways. So this is not necessary, but I like to do it as a little extra insurance. Just pull it back up, pull it and cinch it in again. Now you can come up and snip off your thread. That's out of the way. Now you get your glue out. Now when you're gluing this, you don't have to glue it all the way around. All you have to do is touch it in a couple spots because that glue is going to soak into the thread. And what it's going to do is lock the threads together. So touch it a couple, 2, 3, 4 spots, however you feel. It doesn't, again, matter. None of this stuff is like, you don't have to be perfect on any of it. And then once you set it up, you got everything here like that. Everything's ready. Let me see if I can get a little closer view for you, so you can see the 3D eyes. I don't know how much of that the camera's going to focus in on. No, I don't think the camera will focus in good enough to get them 3-dimensional eyes. But no, this jig will work for, I mean, any kind of panfish, crappie, bluegill, steelhead, any kind of trout. I mean, it works for all of it. I mean, this is just the main thing we use here for the steelhead. And there will be another one I'll tie up, a different kind of little style. It'll have a little bit more of this crystal wrap body on it. We use those for like crappie and panfish too. Same basic jig though. All right, thanks for watching.